Okay, everybody, I gotta make this quick. I am roasting bone marrow in the oven, and I got like 15 minutes until I gotta take it out. Might have to cut this video in half just to fit it in there. Yeah, I feel like death, which is appropriate considering we are now going to cover the resurrection of fat acceptance, which is in 2025. I only have like one earbud in. Oh gosh, you can see I am tired. Okay, I'm tired. You can see the dark circles under my eyes. Okay, daylight savings time is literally trying to end my life. And I'm just here to do my best trying to keep together. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna talk about how fat acceptance undoubtedly made a comeback. I mean, we learned in what was it, December 2024 that it had died, and 2024 was the year that fat acceptance died. But then along came January, and there was this TikTok video that I completely missed. That it's basically it's going to be about fat liberation, how that's taking over, right, for things going forward. So yeah, let's check it out. So I don't know if you've ever heard of J-Babe. She does a lot of plus size travel content, as you can see, plus size travel here. And this is going to be about the call to action to fight for fat liberation. And if you are like wondering, okay, what is fat liberation? How is it different in fat acceptance? A lot of times the terms are used interchangeably, but I would argue that they're actually very, very different. Fat liberation is a political movement rooted in some very collectivist ideals, versus fat acceptance is more about normalizing the idea of fatness. They tend to go hand in hand because you really can't have fat liberation without fat acceptance. And you'll often hear them say things like, no one is free until we're all free, right? And yeah, so we're going to see how J-Bay, who typically does, I said, the travel content, is going to help us learn, right? Is going to help us learn, resurrect that fat ideology and learn how to be good fat allies and become fat liberation activists. Okay, let's watch the TikTok.
I was on my deathbed, struggling to breathe, unsure if I'd even make it another day. And that's when I realized if I don't speak up now, fat people like me might never have the chance to live fully. I wasn't sure how much time I had left, but I knew it was now or never. And that's when I started fighting for us, for fat liberation, for the right to exist, to thrive, and to take up space. Hey, I'm Jalen, but you.
I just want to say really quick. I mean, I don't take any pleasure at all in the fact that she was having a lot of health issues. I have no idea what those health issues are. Maybe she'll tell us in this video. I mean, I don't think it's ever any cause for celebration if somebody's not doing well. But I want to see how she's going to connect that to what's in this video and fat activism.
But you might know me as J Bay. But honestly, I'm just Jay. I wanted to take a moment to reintroduce myself, especially as we head into the new year. Some of you might have followed me for my journey in plus size travel. Some of you might have seen me fight for fat rights. But for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm here to share a bit of my story. After everything I've been through, including facing some of my deepest challenges, I realized that my purpose isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving and helping others like me do the same. So, welcome to 2025, where I'm dedicating myself to making sure fat bodies are seen, heard, and given the rights we deserve. It all started when I was fresh out of college, a first generation graduate, excited to start my life and make a difference. But quickly, life changed for me.
One thing that keeps distracting me is how her eyes keep looking to the side. I don't know why she has all these extraneous details in here either. Like, I don't know why it matters that she's a first generation college graduate, but maybe something to do with the story. We'll find out.
I became sick and my health took a sharp turn. At that moment, I didn't know how much time I had left. The weight of that was crushing. I wasn't sure how much time I had, but one thing I always knew, I wanted to spread my story, my message with the world. I wanted to help fat people like me live our best lives despite the challenges we face.
Okay, but what was her illness? Does anybody know? Like, can you tell me down below, like, what was her illness? Is she purposely avoiding the topic because it's weight related? Because that's what makes me think if she's not going to tell us what it is. I mean, obviously, it's none of our business, but she is putting it on the internet. Like, I tell you guys my disease all the time.
When I realized I might not have much time left, I knew it was now or never. I started posting on social media, sharing my journey, my struggles, my wins, and it took off quickly. It wasn't about fame or attention, it was about making sure my voice was heard, making sure other fat people knew they weren't alone in this fight. It took me a while to find my calling, but after going through many niches, I realized that my purpose was clear all along: fat liberation, activism, and advocacy. This is where I knew I had to be. I've learned so much on this journey, and now I use my experiences as a fat person to help others navigate the same obstacles to live their best, most empowered lives. Whether it's travel, healthcare, or just day to day life, I'm here to break down those barriers that exist for fat people. I'm here to challenge the world to make space for us.
Okay, so I always get really bothered when people say, make space for us because there are so many accommodations that already exist for people who are differently abled or of a larger size. I mean, as somebody who has been a very large size, like I rarely ever ran into issues. I think like the one thing I wasn't allowed to do ever as a fat person was like go on a roller coaster. And at one point, a doctor didn't want to put me on birth control because they were like concerned about the weight plus birth control and the things that went along with that. And those are very reasonable things, right? So those aren't exactly things that I'm going to be like complaining about, but I still fail to see what she cannot access. And they'll always bring up like healthcare, but you can get healthcare. But there are limitations and risks involved with your health because of your weight. There's just no way you can get around that.
For fat people, just like everybody else. So, as we step into the new year, let me reintroduce myself. I'm a fighter, I'm an advocate, I'm an activist, and I'm here to make sure the world knows that fat people deserve every bit of respect, access, and opportunity. We're not just going to be surviving anymore, we're thriving. And if you're ready to stand with me to fight for fat liberation and to make 2025 the year we take our power back, join me. Together, we can show the world that fat liberation is not just a movement, it's the future. Let's make it happen. I'm here and I'm ready to change the world. Are you?
Yeah, so as you can see, Fat Liberation has now been resurrected from the grave. J Bay is here to lead the charge. And no, I did not miss the part where she said that there was a crushing weight of issues. And yes, I understand how bad that sounds to say out loud. I'm not trying to be rude. I just think that she could have set herself up better. Makes you kind of think it was intentional that people would make fun of her. And then she could claim being a victim. Honestly, that's kind of where I see this going. So after watching this video, now I am like actually really curious about like what other stuff she does. I know she does like the travel content, and I'm not really like interested in that. But since she's decided to be an activist now, like she's not just doing travel content, she's an activist, right? I want to look at some of the other things that she's being activistic about. So let's see. She has this other one here. It says, "Fat phobia isn't about health, it's about control. Stop hiding behind concern for health to shame others. It's prejudice, plain and simple. Fat people deserve dignity and respect, period. Hashtag fat phobia is a choice. Fearless fat advocacy. Fat phobia is real. Fat phobia is not cute. Anti-fatness. Fat activist, plus size, anti-fat bias." I don't know what FYP means, guys. I'm not up with the lingo. I don't know acronyms. Acronyms are like, that's for kryptonite. Lots and lots of comments. Oof. Okay, no, the comments are mean. We're not gonna read into that. That's a little too mean for me. Okay, I know I'm kind of mean, but I'm not that mean. But let's check out her video and see what she has to say.
Well, I just care about your health. Maybe if you lost weight, you'd feel better. Nah, let's be clear. Fat phobia is a choice. Stop pretending it's for fat people's health. If you really cared about someone's health, you wouldn't shame them or make them feel less than just because of their body size.
Okay, so this is the thing that always bothers me, and I've said this 1,000 times since starting this channel. But being realistic about somebody's health is not fat shaming. Okay, fat shaming is putting a qualifier that has nothing to do with someone's health about their health. So you're saying, okay, you're very, very large, and so therefore you have all these negative traits. That would be like fat shaming, and especially if it's like a stereotype or something. But if you're saying, oh, you are significantly overweight, and therefore you are at risk of all these diseases, you are at risk of getting into an early grave, you're at risk of not being able to fit into an airplane seat. I know I bring up airplane seats all the time, but she is a travel blogger, right? Then in those cases, that's not fat shaming. That's just reality, right? Those are just things that are going to happen. And so she's saying, don't make it about health, that you can be, probably healthy at every size or access health at every size or should be able to. It's just a very strange, manipulative thing to do. It's almost like she's trying to lie to us so much in order to convince herself of her own lie. It really makes me wonder how long this is just going to last, right? I have no idea. I mean, we brought it back from the dead, right? We brought fat acceptance back from the dead, and we're here now. It's 2025. But honestly, at this rate, if this is the best they have, I don't know how long it's going to last.
Health is personal and it doesn't look the same for everybody. But what I do know is that fat people, just like anybody else, deserve to exist in a world without being judged or treated like we're less worthy of care, respect, or access to basic human rights. Here's the thing: fat phobia is rooted in societal bias. It's not actually about health, it's about controlling how we look and making us feel inferior. It's about pushing an unrealistic standard of beauty and health that only benefits a system that profits off of our insecurities. We're told just lose the weight, like it's that easy. And the truth is, being fat isn't a moral failing. It's a body type, and no one should be shamed for it. Health
Oof, oof. You know how she brought in the systematic thing there? That's what I was talking about when it has like this collectivist background. They're always going to bring up the system and how the system is encouraging them to lose weight, and the system is encouraging them to buy all these products and help them lose weight. And yeah, there's definitely things out there. But what they don't understand, and what a lot of people do not understand, is that the corporations do not create the market. The market creates the corporations. Okay. Every time you see a corporation try to say, okay, we're going to push this agenda, doesn't it always backfire? Like very, very rarely does it actually work. I'm struggling to think of any case where it's actually worked. I mean, especially now in the free information age, like you can get information just anywhere. You can go on X, you can go on the internet, you can go on Facebook. I mean, and you'll have all these different points of views, and you'll have things that are fact checked, or you'll have things that are community noted. But the thing is that you can look up things and you can see things, and therefore there isn't one narrative machine telling you what is there for you, what is good for you, what is bad for you. And so this idea that we're living in a system that is still pushing this is kind of insane. I always bring up the food industry and how people have always like received terrible health advice in the past generations, and that still holds true because there was a time where we didn't have the internet. So a lot of people grew up with this really terrible information that was pushed on them. That's not the world anymore. We're in a free information age now. And so if you're still blaming a system for things that you can now easily access, that's a you problem, not a systemic problem.
Health can't be measured by the size of our bodies alone. I know plenty of fat people who are healthy, strong, and happy, just like I know thin people who are unhealthy. Health is complex, and it's about more than just a number on a scale. You can be fat and healthy, and you can be thin and still face health issues. So stop using health as an excuse to harm people's mental health and emotional well being.
Yeah, and here's one more thing about that. They always try to bring that up, but they never bring up people of her size. Okay. If you are of her size, you are not healthy no matter what. And I'm sorry that sounds harsh. That's just the reality of the situation. I can see, for example, somebody who has like an extra 30 pounds on them and that doesn't affect their health as much. And it might even be good. And say, like, an example where you get sick and you have to go through, for example, I have a friend who's going through radiation and chemo at the moment, and the doctors wanted her to be slightly overweight because they knew that she would be losing weight during that whole process. And so in cases like that, yes, it could benefit you, but that is an extreme exception and definitely not the rule. And we should not be making it the rule. It's just kind of crazy.
Fatphobia isn't about health, it's about control, it's about prejudice, and it's about a society that hasn't learned how to accept people who look different. So let's stop pretending. Fat people deserve respect, love, and dignity, no matter the size we are. So, next time you want to use health as an excuse to shame someone, just remember fat phobia is a choice, and it's time to stop choosing it.
Okay. Okay. So, as you can see here, we learned a lot. Health and weight loss has to do with control, which completely makes sense why she's trying to control the way that we're thinking. Never mind that we have research-based evidence and we have like all of world history to look at people who are significantly overweight and have had extremely ill health effects because of that. No, 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 no. We got to change the way that we're thinking and go along with this new idea because 2025 is the year of fat liberation, guys, right? I personally think the reason why she brings up control so much is not just this idea to control us, is that she feels that she herself is out of control and therefore she has to exert control over her own life. But because she can only be in her own delusion, she can't make you delusional along with her. She has to create this narrative that you're trying to control her in order to help manipulate and gaslight you into delusion with her, right? That's the best way I know how to explain it. Ugh. Anyways, I gotta go take my bone marrow out of the oven. Like I said, it was a short video. Please, guys, let me know what you think down below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff that we always talk about. And I wish I had more to say on this. I'm just dead tired. I am just barely holding on. I am looking at this and I am cringing so hard because fat liberation is back, right? But anyways, you have a great day and I'll talk to you later, I guess. Bye.